What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to build the register page. So we will allow people to register in your website. So the first thing that I want to do is just like style in here a bit the front page. I'm going to do something quickly in here, but you guys can also like at any time just pause the video or just copy the files that I'm going to put the link in the description. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here into my index.php first of all, and on the top in here on the side actually I'm just going to start creating some folders. I'm going to create one folder for CSS, and inside of this CSS I'm just going to do a style.css file. I'm just going to put in here a background color of blue, for example, on the body. Of course, this needs to be on the body, just to test out if everything is working correctly. And now I'm also going to create a folder called JS for JavaScript, and inside of it I'm going to create a file called main.js with a console.log of running. Just make sure that this file is working. Okay, so I got this. Okay, now on my index.php on the top, I'm gonna link my CSS, which actually is not working. So I'm just gonna create a random file in here. So I'm just gonna call this about.html. I'm gonna do a regular template, so I can just create this thing quickly. So I'm gonna do a link CSS. Now I can just copy this. Okay, on my index.php, I'm gonna put this in here, and now I'm just gonna do so I need to go into /css, and then the name of my CSS file is style.css. Okay, so I don't need this about.html anymore. Okay, I can just get rid of it. It was just like to grab this link. So I should have this all okay. I also want to have in here on the bottom script. Okay, and I think I need to do this as well, opening and closing, and now I'm gonna have a source. Okay, the source in here is gonna be a /, so we are looking on the same directory. Yeah, if I'm writing down this on index.php, I want to look on the same directory. I want to go inside of the JS folder, and then I want to grab the main.js file. Okay, so main.js. I'm going to save this. I want to also install in here or just connect Bootstrap. So Bootstrap, I'm going to put this on Google. Just go to Bootstrap. I'm going to go to Get Started. To get started, I'm going to copy this link in here on the top for the CSS. So let's go in here. Just before my style.css, I'm going to paste this one. So I got this one in here. Now I need to copy all of these scripts in here for the JavaScript as well. So I'm going to go in here, and just before my JavaScript in here, I can just paste these 3 links. Okay, one more thing. I want to grab a font from Google Fonts. So I'm going to put Google Fonts. So where is Google Fonts? Just in here. I want to use this font in here called Roboto. You guys can use any font that you would like. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to open the page and select in here on the top, select this font. Down here, you guys can go and just copy this link. Okay, that is in here on the side. So it's link href font something. So I'm going in here, and just before my style.css, I'm going to put a space. I'm going to link this font in here. And now if I want to use it, I need to copy this part from here on the bottom. Don't know if you guys can see it or not, so I'm just going to move this in here. Look, when you click, this is the link that I copied, and now I need to use this on my CSS. So let me go to my CSS. I'm just going to target everything on the page using the asterisk. And I'm going to do this one. I want everything to have this kind of font from my Google Fonts. I'm going to do a margin. Actually, I don't need to do all of this because I'm just going to copy after what I have in here on the side. Right, okay, let me just refresh my page. As you guys can see now, all my page is blue, so it means our CSS is working. Also, if I open the inspect by doing right click on the page and doing inspect, if you go on the top, this is open the developer tools. On the top, you should have in here a console. So let's run this. Our console is not running at the moment, so there must be something wrong. So on my script source, look, I put SCR. It shouldn't be SCR, it should be SRC. Let me just go back, refresh the page, and look. Let me just increase this size so you guys can see running. So all of this is connected. Perfect. Okay, one thing that I'm gonna do in order to make sure that our code is well dynamic for all the different pages, I'm actually going to create a new folder in here called inc, okay, for includes. Now inside I'm going to create a file called header.html. And what I'm going to do in this header.html is on my index.php, I'm going to grab everything. I actually need to put a nav. Okay, so I'm going to put in here a nav. Okay, I'm gonna put this first of all. I'm gonna put a nav. Inside of it, I'm gonna have like an h3, for example. So h3. Now I'm gonna put in here Telmo Academy. And after that, I'm just gonna put a UL. Okay, I'm gonna put a UL with some LIs inside. So LI opening and closing, and inside I'm gonna have a ahref. So I'm just gonna copy what do I have in here. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy this. I'm just gonna paste it in here because basically this is what I need to put. So as you guys can see, I have 3 LIs with the href for the home for index.php. This one is going to be for the register page that we are going to build right now. And we also have this li to go to the login page, which we don't have at the moment, but we will build in another video. Now we got all our navigation bar. What I want to do is this code that I'm highlighting, I want this code to be the same all over all the pages that I'm going to create. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to right click, cut this off, and now I'm going to my includes folder, my header.html. I'm going to paste this. Okay? Now if I want this code in any of my pages, what I have to do is, let me just check in here to make sure that everything is fine. What I have, so what I'm going to do is in here, I'm going to do a PHP require. Okay, so this is the way that we can require this file from here so we can reuse it anywhere that we want. So I'm going to do in here require, I'm going to do a dot slash. Like you guys remember, the dot slash means you are looking on the same directory. I want to go into inc, and then this is the folder. I want to grab the header.html. Header.html. And now don't forget to put the semicolon, and now closing the PHP tags. Like I mentioned before, guys, whenever you want to write down some PHP in here, you just start with this opening PHP tag and closing PHP tag. And what we are doing with this function of requiring is just like loading this code in here into our index.html. Let's just reload our page and make sure everything is still working fine. Look, everything is still working fine. At the moment, we need to apply some CSS styles, which I have in here on the side. So I'm going to copy all of these styles, and I'm going to show you. So because this is not a CSS styles class, we want to learn about PHP and MySQL. So let's not lose too much time with this. So I'm going to put in here on my styles. Let me just remove everything in here. I'm just going to paste my CSS. So what I'm going to do is I have links on the description if you guys want to use them. If not, you can copy it. So I'm just going to slowly scroll down so you guys can pause the video and copy all the styles. So we are in here until nav ul. So look, I'm gonna scroll down a bit, scroll slowly, until the nav UL. Okay, and that's it. This is all the styles that you guys need. Okay, so I'm just gonna scroll. If you want to pause it right now, look, this nav UL, I'm gonna scroll a bit up again. Make sure that you have everything. Okay, I'm gonna save this and let me now see how does this look like at the moment. This all looks good. Okay, we have in here a nav academy, we got the home register login nav, and now I want actually on my database configuration, I don't want to say anything at the moment. Only if I have some error on my connection I want to see. So let me just comment this thing out for now. Okay, let me refresh the page, my first PHP project. Where is this one coming from? I think it's on my index.php. Yeah, let me get rid of this stuff on the top as well. I don't need this anymore. Okay, let me refresh. This is all good. Now, what I want to do is start applying some... let me also... Look, this is my index.php. This stuff up here, all these JavaScript scripts that they will be available in all the pages. Let's just cut this off and create another file for it. So I'm going to go in here and create a footer.html. Okay. So all this code, they need to be present in all the pages. So I'm just going to right click, cut this off and put it in here on footer. Okay. So now I can go in here onto my index.php, do the same thing of, okay, requiring. This time I want to require what? The footer.html that I just created. Okay, so I got everything that I want on the top. This is my footer, if you guys remember. In here now, I'm just going to create some stuff. So I'm going to create a div, okay, with a class of container. So let's close this up. Okay, so we got in here a div with a class of container. Let me see if I'm just missing something else. I'm just going to do in here some divs in here with some bootstrap classes. Okay, so this container is just going to make sure that everything is centered on the page. Okay, so I'm going to put in here a div. Let me close this. And now, okay, what do I have? I have in here a card with a class of card. So this is bootstrap classes. Okay, guys, this is just to apply some styles to our project. I'm going to do a BG light. And I'm going to do a M margin bottom of 3 in here. So I got this, and after I have this card, I can have a card header. So I'm going to do a div. Okay, I'm going to close this one as well. I'm going to put a class of card-header, and inside I'm just going to put at the moment an h5. So I'm going to put an h5, and in here I'm just going to say welcome guest. Welcome guest. Now after the card header, I want to do a card body. So card body, like I said, this is all some bootstrap classes, and I'm going to show you in a second how they look like. What I'm just going to write down in here is going to be this. Okay, so I'm just going to put in here, please log in or register to unlock all the content, because when you load the page for the first time, you should be, look, someone who doesn't have access to anything, because look, you are just a guest. So this is it for my index.html page. Okay, we got everything. Now we need to go to our register page. As you guys can see, it does not exist at the moment. So let's create it. So I'm going to go in here. Look, this is how your folder structure should look at the moment. Let me just see if everything is fine. I think everything is fine. So I'm going to go in here and just create a new file called register.php. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy everything that I have in here on my index.php. I'm gonna put the same thing in here. Now, let me see what my register.php has. What I want to do is, first of all, I have my header, I have my footer, okay? I need to start creating some sort of forms. So I got my container. So let me just delete, I'm just going to leave this div in here. Okay, this is going to be with the class of cards. And then I needed this. So this is fine. I have this, which is going to be with just register saying. I'm going to put in here register. This can go all on the same line, I guess. So register, let me see. I'm going to put in here a card. This is going to be card header. Okay, so this is card header. And then I'm going to have some card body. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to put a card body. Okay, let me delete all of this. So inside of my card body, what do I want to have? Okay, actually I'm going to even wrap. So I got my card header, I got my card body. So I'm going to wrap everything in here. Okay. With a div with a class of cards. Okay, this is all some Bootstrap classes, guys. Like I said, I'm going to show you in a second how they look like. So inside of my card, I want to have a form. So this is my card body. So I'm going to put in here a form. Okay, a form, first of all, needs an action, which I'm going to explain now what it is. So whenever you submit a form, you want to send this data to some sort of file to handle all this data that you are submitting. At the moment, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send all this data that we are actually typing down in here to the same file, to this one. Okay, so I'm going to put in here register.php. So whenever I submit this form of this data, I'm going to send it to this file, which we're going to grab in here on the top. I will show you in a second. So we got this, and then we need an action. A method. So basically, there are a couple of different methods that you can use in order to send data to the database or to retrieve. If you want to send some data to the database, the best method to use will be the post method. Okay, so this is the method that you use if you want to send something into the database. There are different kinds of methods like get. For example, if you want to get things from the database, there are others like method like delete if you want to delete stuff from the database. There is put if you want to update some things from the database. But right now we're going to use this one, post, to send things to the database. Now in here, inside of the form, what I'm going to put is, I'm going to put a div with a class of form group. So let me just copy what I have in here so I can speed things up a bit. Okay, this form group is just like a Bootstrap class, just to give some different stylings, and you will see in a second how does it look like. So I'm going to have in here now a label. Okay, let me put in here a label. So label for username, this is going to be the name of my input that I'm just going to write down at the moment. This that you see in here, username, is just the text that you're going to see on the front end. And now I'm actually going to put my input. So I'm going to put in here an input. Input with the type of text. Okay, because this is the text is going to be an input just for you to put some text with the name of username. Okay. Let me see if I'm missing something else. And I want to have a class. I think it's form control. Okay, so this is another form control. This is another class from Bootstrap. And now what I want to do as well is I got the type, the name, the class, and I think I have everything. Yeah. I want to have the username. Yeah, that's everything. So let's have a look now how this is looking at the moment. So if I go to my register, look, I got my register. This part in here on the top, this is my card header. This is my card body inside. This is my label, username, and this is my actual input where I'm going to type down something. So let's copy this code that says form group. Okay, I'm going to paste it again. This time I'm going to say for user email, which is going to be in here. Look, I'm going to type down this is user email. This is what people see on the front end, the text. I'm going to have now an input of the type of email, and I'm going to have the name, which is going to be user email. Okay, look, the label for, this for needs to match this name. Okay, so the two things, they need to match. And now we got the class of form control. This is fine. Let's copy this one more time, this form group. Okay, let me put just some spaces in here so you guys can see what's going on. Okay, I got my form. Look, form starting and closing. I got 3 form groups. So one of them is the name, username, so username, user email of the type email. And now I'm going to have the password. So I'm going to put in here for password, for example. I'm going to call this one password. If you guys want to call it user password, the same thing, you can. The type of this is going to be an input with a type of password. So when you're going to type down something, you don't see the actual characters. Okay, let's just have a look how this is looking like. Look, you got the username, you got the email, and you got the, oops, I didn't update this. This is not user email. This is user password. Okay, let me just see if this is fine. I think this is all good so far. One thing that we need to put is a button down here. So I'm going to put a button. Okay, and this button is going to be with the name of, let me just go in here, register. So I'm going to put register. So button. This button, I'm going to put it with a class of btn primary. This will make your button nicely styled like as blue. Let me refresh. Look, register button. So when you click on this button, you want to put this button as the type of submit. So you can actually, if you put the type of submit in this button, you're going to make this button to actually submit all the data from this form. Now, I'm also going to do in here a name of register. Okay, I'm going to put a name on this button. So what this means is when you submit all this data, you can actually see if this button was pressed or not to send all this data. So I think that's it. Look, I can even put one more thing in here in all my inputs. I can put required. So if you put required, okay, in in these inputs, it means that you cannot submit the form unless all of this is in here completely filled up. So look, if I'm going to try to submit this, it's going to say, please fill in this field. Okay, I'm going to try to do something. Look, please include the @. So I'm going to put @email.com. And now if I'm going to type down some password, you can't see nothing in here because this is a password. I'm going to do register, and look, something is still not working because I need to put a @ and then you can submit the form. Okay, so I guess if I'm not wrong, we got everything in here now working with this. Now when we submit all this data, what we can do is actually just go in here on the top, okay? And in our PHP, so as you guys can see, when we submit our form, we are submitting to this page, to this register, so we can grab everything in here on the top. So what I'm going to do, first of all, is I'm going to do an if statement, if, okay, is set. So this is set in here is a function from PHP to make sure if a variable has some kind of value or not. So what we want to do in here is if is set, and I'm going to use in here this $post. Okay, and I'm going to explain in a second what this does. Register. Okay, I'm going to do in here if is set, and now I'm going to put this thing in here. And okay, let me explain what's going on in here. So whenever you load this page, okay, you're going to check this. If isSet, like I said, isSet is a PHP function to check if a variable has some data or not. And you can check in here using this super global variable called the $_post. This is a super global variable of PHP that can grab a variable by their name. So as you guys can see down here, this is my form. Okay, I'm going to select everything. This form is submitting some data to this file called register.php via the method of post. Okay, that's why we are using this super global variable of post. So this is checking, are we sending anything to this page via post? With what name? Look, on your button there is a name of register. So if you are actually submitting this form via this button with the name of register, okay, we will grab all this data. So what I will do first of all is just go in here, and I'm going to create a new variable called user name. Is going to be equals to $_post. Okay, so I'm creating a new variable called username, and now we're going to grab the value that you are sending from your form. If you remember, this is your input. Okay, so what are we sending from here? We are sending from here the name. Look, name, username. This is how you grab the value of this input. So I'm going to put in here this new variable that I just called username. I want to grab from the $_post this value from this input with the name of username. Look, username, I'm going to copy it and put it in here. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing in here now for example, user email is going to be equals to $_post. Okay, and I'm just going to put what is, look, my input in here of the type email, and with the name. This is the important thing, guys. Name of user email. Okay, I need to grab this, so I'm storing it in this new variable. And like I said, we are using this $_post because we are submitting our form through a method of post. If we were using other methods like get or delete or whatever, you would use these other methods. So what are we missing from our form? We already grabbed the values from the name, from the email, and from the password. That's what we are missing. So I'm just going to put in here password. If you want to call it user password, call it user password. It doesn't matter. Now I'm going to do in here $_post. And I need to grab the post from my password. Look, this is my div control. This is my input. And now look, the name. This is the important part, guys. The name is password. If the name was something else, you grab whatever is in here. Look, $_post, password. Oops. Okay, now this is only available when you are coming to this page, register page, via post. Okay, because when you submit the page in here with a form, you go to this, you go to this page in here, the same page, via post. So you can only make this work when you come to this page via a post method. So after I grab all of these values from the submission of my form, I just want to do an echo on the page to make sure that we are grabbing everything correctly. So I'm going to do an echo. If you guys remember, the echo is just like printing on the page something. So I'm going to put in here echo username, and then I'm going to put a dot. Okay, this is to concatenate with some strings. So I'm going to put a space. Then I'm going to concatenate this with the user email. Okay, Then I'm just going to concatenate with another space, and finally I'm just going to add in here my password. Okay, so let me just look, guys. It's better instead of you guys being refreshing your page all the time, just go in here on the top, select the URL and press enter. Now let's submit our form. I'm going to create a username like Telmo. I'm going to do a user email of Telmo. It could be my email, doesn't matter. And user password, I'm just going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now look, if you press register, we should see all these values on the top. It means that we are grabbing all this data from our form. Let's see if it's working or not. Register, and look, I got the name, I got the email, and I got the password as well. So this is all great. Now there's only one thing in here missing at the moment, which is we need to actually sanitize and validate all this data that people are putting on our website, because sometimes people, they can put some malicious scripts or anything else. So we need to make sure that we are safe on these things. So what we can do is we should not grab these values just like this, because let me show you a little trick in here. Look, if I click on the URL, remember guys, don't just do refresh on your page. Click on your URL and then press enter so you can clear this nicely. So on my username, instead of putting my name, let's say I'm just going to put, if you guys know some JavaScript, I'm going to put an alert. And then I'm just going to put in here, this is a virus. I don't know, just as an example. I'm going to put on the user email the same thing and the password another thing. Look, I'm going to press register. And now look, this is actually coming like this. So this is fine. Okay, so we got, you don't want to do this alert like I did, but you could do like this. Script. And now I'm going to do alert. I'm going to do, this is a virus. Okay, I'm going to call this a script again. I'm going to put some email. I'm going to put some password. Let me just copy this. I think this is all working fine. Let's do a register. And look, I submit my form, and now all of a sudden we are running in here a script. This script at the moment that you are running is just something like not very problematic for your website. But as you can see, someone could put some scripts in your form and make like hack your database or your website. So we need to make sure that we are safe against these things. So what you can do is, instead of doing these $post, what you can do is, first of all, I'm going to do in here for my username, I'm going to do a filter var. So look, I'm just going to do this, comment this out. So I'm going to do my username is going to be equals to filter var. Okay, let me just see. So this filter var is just a way that PHP lets you just filter all this data coming from the user. So what do I want to filter? I want to filter this post. Okay, post username. This is the data that I want to sanitize at the moment. And then I'm going to do a filter. Okay, I'm going to do sanitize, and then I can do string. Okay, there are many different types of sanitization that you can do, and you can do a quick Google search about this. So what this does is just like sanitizing. If someone puts some sort of a string, is going to be like sanitized. So I'm going to show you in a second. Let me just copy this. Actually, I'm going to go in here. Yeah, it's fine. I can just copy this. I'm going to put it 3 times. So this time I'm going to put user email in here. I'm going to do in here the post user email. Okay, and I'm going to do password. Oops, password. And now, same thing in here. I'm going to put this in here. Okay, the first thing in here, we are sanitizing a string. But the second one in here, I want to sanitize email. Okay, there are many different things that you can sanitize, but this is one of the most like popular. You can sanitize integers for numbers, you can validate the emails and so on. Okay, so now we can, after we did this kind of sanitization, we can, if you want to, you can still do another check. You could do something like this. If, for example, check if your user email, let me just see what do I have in here. Okay, so you can do like if filter var, okay, and I'm gonna put in here my user email. And then the second thing is I'm gonna put filter validate email. Let me just put in here. Okay, so what this does is in here you did the sanitization of the text that people are putting, and then you can run the filter var once again. This time, for example, for just the user email. You guys can do whatever you want in here. And now we are just going to validate to make sure that this is actually an email. So this in here is going to give you true or false. Is this email valid or not? If this is true, you can do something, okay? So at the moment I could just do an echo, for example, echo of the actual user email, okay? So I'm gonna put the user email. I'm gonna do again the same thing. This time I'm even gonna put a script to make sure that you guys see that you can't do the scripts anymore. So I'm gonna put this. So in here, what do I want to put? The username. Okay, and finally, I just want to put the password. Okay, let's just check this again, if this is working. Select the URL, press enter to refresh. I'm going to put some scripts in here. Look, this is a virus. I'm going to put some email, blah, 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 and I'm going to put some password. I'm going to put register, and look what happened. This time, we are grabbing our email all good. If you try to put some sort of a script, it gets all stripped out. Your script, if someone tries to put a script in here, it doesn't work, okay? So basically, why is this running 2 times? Because I have 2 echoes. I just need 1. So basically, that's it guys in here for the form validation. I know that I said that we would do the register now, but this video is just taking a bit too long. So right now, we just grabbed all these data and everything. So in the next video, we will actually be able to send these to the database. Alright guys, I hope you all enjoyed this series and I'll see you in the next video.